You can see more and more on gyms around that they kind of expand the businesses.
Yeah.
And they add like smoothie bars or small shops or maybe a seating area.
Yeah.
How does this affect how members come back?
No, I get it. So we've done some research just recently for a big operator in the US, and we've done some research in the past on member length and secondary spend. And what we saw was that it takes a while for people to get into the habit of spending extra money per visit. So they come for the first visit, they train, they leave. Over time, if you've got things like smoothie bars and areas for people to dwell, they will start to use them. But to start with, they'll use them on a more ad hoc basis. I'll grab a coffee today before I head into work, or I'll have my lunch here because it's easier to have lunch here than try and find it somewhere else. But the more they see the value in that, the more frequently they do it. And after about 6 months, you can get people up to about 40% extra spend per month above the value of their membership. Now, we know that's true in the mid-market and the higher end clubs. We don't know what it is like in the low cost clubs or the budget clubs, because they have less options for secondary spend. But if you take some of the boutiques, they're wrapping up a visit with a smoothie and some other things, so that it's not just the workout, it's additional things. So it can have a really big impact. But you get into the habit of linking things together. I fly a lot, I travel a lot, and I particularly fly out of one airport, and I know Stockholm Airport really well. And I'm like, okay, if I'm flying, if I get there, I know where I'm going for my coffee. I know which shops I might browse for a little while. I know where the quiet seating areas are, because the airport I go to doesn't have lounges. And I know that by the time I get on the flight, I probably will have already spent 20, 30 euros, or even, I even know I'm going to have lunch in a particular restaurant, and I know the menu well enough that it'll be one of 3 main things. That's the type of behavior we want from our members. We want to get them used to coming in, working out, grabbing a smoothie to go, working out, dwelling for 30 minutes, buying a coffee, spending time, creating relationships with others. It has a really big impact, but you've got to have it, and it's got to be of quality. You can't, because you can't just sell coffee, because in Sweden it's like is it Espresso House? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, almost Espresso House.
Yeah, that's who I'm competing with as a club. If I start to put on coffee and things like that, and I have to think, is the quality of my experience equal to or better than what I can get from Espresso House? Because if it isn't, maybe I should focus on something else.
Yeah.
And I think small clubs, have the opportunity to really, I know they're small physically, but the area where people can meet after a workout, after a group exercise or small group training, has massive value. And we saw that with businesses like Soul Cycle historically, where people would come and do their spinning class. When they finished, they'd all hang around outside talking to each other. And they really understood that as a business, and they ended up creating their workout branded clothing, where they'd have 12 different releases of clothing per year, one a month, limited edition. And people came and did their class. Then they spent 100 euros on a pair of leggings and 70 euros on a tank top to be part of that community. So it can have a really big value.